So let's go over the super basics of how to use a microscope. We're not going to talk about every single part on this microscope, just some of the basic parts for the microscopes that we're going to use, and this video will also talk about how I want you to use the microscopes the way I like you to use it. Now, when you set up your microscope, I like it with the spine facing you and the stage on the other side, right? And this allows, I'll show you later, allows us for the easiest control. Sometimes what you're going to see is the stage in front and then the lenses turned around, but I don't like that setup. I like this setup, right? So that's how we're going to look at it. These are our ocular lenses, right? So this is where these are essentially your eyepieces, and then you can adjust these things to your width, right, according to how wide your eyes are, narrow or far, and adjust them. Get in the practice of using two eyes, not just the one eye. The ocular lenses magnify 10 times, right? So these are 10 times lenses, right? So everything that's going to be seen through these is going to be 10 times larger. Our objective lenses are down over here, and notice they're color coded and they're written on there, right? So let's cycle through. We have our red 4 times lens, our yellow 10 times lens, our blue 40 times lens, and our white 100 times lens. Okay, now our red and our yellow, our 4 and 10 times lens, are safe lenses. They are the shortest lenses, and they will never ever touch this thing, which is what we call our stage. And the stage is where the slide sits, and this thing down here is called the stage clip. This is that holds our slide in place, allowing us to move our slide around, right? And in order to move our slide, there's these controls here with 2 knobs. One knob moves the slide stage clips forward and back. The other moves it side to side. Okay. These are focus knobs, right? And there are 2 focus knobs. The large one moves the stage. It's called a coarse focus adjustment. And notice when I turn it, our stage moves visibly up and down, so you can see it move quite fast. Our fine focus adjustment will move our stage quite slowly. So it does move the stage, but it's much harder to see the movement, right? And the reason I like the spine facing you is that when you turning away brings the stage down, rolling towards you brings the stage up. So it's a very intuitive roll, right? So that's why I like spine towards you, very easy, right? That's down, this is up. Good. And finally, our light switch, right? So here's our light switch. Simply click that forward, that turns the light on, and then forward all the way, that's brighter, and then closer to you, and that's less bright. We have some other microscopes, so let me just show you some of the differences. This one is our Nikon, right? So this one here has only, let's see, our coarse focus is over here, and our fine focus is on there on the right side, and on the left side we have only a fine focus. To turn the light on, and this one it's not plugged in, so you're not going to see anything, but light switch on turns the light on, and then this increases brightness, right? So bright and dim. Otherwise the operation is the same. This one is our Motic, right? This one here has a big coarse focus knob on the right side and a fine focus knob, and then it has a small coarse focus knob on the left side and then a fine focus knob. And just like the Nikon, switch, rheostat. Otherwise the operation is pretty much the same on both of these. Okay, but let's go back to this one, the Leica. This one is my favorite. I don't know why. I just like it. Couple of things I want to say, right? So the lenses are very expensive. They're about $1,000 each. So we want to make sure that we protect our lenses, especially our high-powered lenses, right? So what I want you guys to get into practice and habit of is, as soon as you grab the microscope, turn the stage all the way down, right? And we know roll forward is down, and then also 4 times lens in place, right? And this is the shortest lens. So this is what I call safe position. It gives us the most space between lens and stage. This is the one that protects our microscope. And these ones I just grabbed out of the cabinet, and look at these guys. That's the gigantic lens. That's not a good lens to have in there, right? Same over here. That's a 100 times lens, right? So, they're not always going to be left in the position that you want them to be in. So just get in that practice, or get in the habit of making sure that we have the safe lens in. The reason that it's important is because I'm going to bring the stage all the way up now. So here's the stage all the way up, and see how there's a gap. The 4 times lens cannot touch the stage. The 10 times lens cannot touch the stage. But look at the 40. There we go. We have stage touching. All right. I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go. We have lens touching stage. That's $1,000 lens. Here's 100 times. Lens touching stage. This one is like an $1,100 lens, right? So avoid this kind of stuff, right? So in general, first thing you do before you do anything, stage all the way down, 4 times lens in, safe position, right? This keeps our microscope nice and safe. Okay, so let's look at basic operation. Here's my slide, my smear, right? And we talked about how to make a smear. There are my labels, right? And remember, my sample's actually on the other side, right? So I'm going to flip this over. And I want to look at backwards labels so that I know my sample side is up. Because ultimately, that's what we want, right? In order to put this in, stage clips for the Leica is on the left. Slide it open. And then slide the slide right into this corner bracket on the stage. And then gently release the stage clips. And then now you can move this around. Stage clips on the other two are a little bit different, right? So on the Nikon, we have a the clip, movable clip is on the right side. It's a claw, and then the corner is on the left over there. And then same with the Motic, the movable claw on the right, and the corner is on the left. But once they're in there, everything moves the same. So I'm going to try to move nice and slow. Good, so now we are in, our slide is loaded. Now we're ready to look. And in order to use the microscope, we want to now put into start position. And essentially the way we want to focus on things is the way our eyes work. We bring our sample as close as we possibly can to our eyes. And then we slowly move it away until it becomes focused. Is that focused? Focused enough, right? So that's how we do this. So now we bring it up to start position. I always like to watch when the stage goes all the way up, just in case, even though I know the 4 times lens is my safe lens. Bring it all the way up, turn the light on, and don't crank it up all the way. At the lower powers, the light gets crazy bright. And then move my sample over the light, and I know where my sample is by the circle that I've drawn on my slide. And now I'm in what's called start position. The sample is as close as it's going to get to the lens, and now I'm ready to go and magnify or focus on it. Right? Focusing works pretty straightforward. Never focus unless you're looking. Alright, so look into the eyepiece, and then while you're looking, if you guys look at my hand down there, while you guys are looking, gently turn until you get it into focus. And right about over there is in focus. Okay, so once you are in focus, you have then using the coarse focus, then use the fine focus and sharpen the image. I'm going to just go double check that. Good. And then sharpen the image until it's nice and clear. Okay, so that's good. Now we are in focus under the 4 times. What we're looking at there is 4 times 10, 40 times larger than it is in real life. Okay, good. But that's for bacteria, it's going to be super tiny, so we want to move in closer. In order to do that, we're going to rotate our lens in. Right? So I always like to watch it, but again, our 10 times is our safe lens. Nothing bad should happen, so I'm simply going to rotate it in, and it'll be okay like that, right? Now, this microscope is what's called parfocal. That means the focal length for all lenses are going to be the same. So once I move in the 10, it should already be in focus. So from here on in, all I really need to do is touch the fine focus, right? So you just go and fiddle with the fine focus, and then it'll be in focus for you. All right, so we're good. Okay, now we are at 10 times 10, 100 times total magnification, right? But again, that's still very small for bacteria, so we want to bring in our 40 times lens. And again, we want to watch it go in. And our 40 times lens, it should sit just above the slide, right? So when you come and bring it in like that, and it'll go just very tight above there. Shouldn't touch the slide, but it'll come just right above the slide, right? It's kind of a scary lens to put in, and that's why you must watch it. And now at this point, the cardinal rule is with the high dry or the 40 times lens and the oil immersion and the 100 times lens, you never touch the coarse focus. Like, see this what I'm doing? Don't even do this. Don't touch it, because if you accidentally move the stage too fast, you're gonna crush the slide, which is gonna ruin your work, but also can possibly damage the lens. Remember, $1,000 lenses, right? So do not touch it. Only the fine focus. Now focusing on this is going to be a little bit tricky because it's going to be hard to find, right? So this is what I like to do. I put my finger at the top of the find focus, and I'll do it for both sides like this. And then my first rotation I make is always forward. Okay, so never turn this unless you're looking, because things are going to come in and out focus very fast, right? So while you're looking, slowly turn forward within 2 rotations. And within those 2 rotations, it should be either there and focused or close to focusing. You should be able to sort of see it. And remember, parfocal, right? The focal length should be about the same, so it should already sort of be in focus. Okay? If in those 2 revolutions you didn't find it, that means you've gone the wrong way. So you go back to the beginning. And I know what the beginning is because I simply go back 2 revolutions. And then 2 revolutions, slowly backwards, right? Until you find it. And again, it should be there or close to there. And if it's not there, that means something funny happened. Then you go back to the 10 times lens, find it again on the low power. Usually it's much easier to find on the low power. And then go back to the 40 times lens again. Watch it go in. It should sit just right above, right? And then try again. Twice forward, twice back, and then see if you can find it. And it should be there. Okay. Finally, the oil immersion lens. And now the oil immersion lens is called that because it absolutely does not work without oil. The field of vision in the oil immersion lens is so small, there's not enough light gathered into the lens for it to be able to focus. So the oil helps increase resolution by bending light towards the lens. Okay, so let's go grab some oil. Let's forgot to prepare it with me, but it's right there behind me. There we go. We got some immersion oil. Okay, now this is how I want you to use the immersion oil. You have to drop it on the slide, but you do not want to get oil on any other lens, otherwise it's going to ruin the lens because the oil will affect the vision or clarity, right? So move the lenses. Let's look at it like this. So then that you're in between the 40 and the 100. Then you take your oil, drop that right on your sample. Nice drop right there. Not too much, but you know, some. And then rotate the 100 in. And I like to wiggle a little bit and then watch it go in. And the oil should be making contact with the lens and the slide. Okay? Okay. And then now again, on the top, 2 times forward, 2 times back, and then it should be there. And it's parfocal, right? So you shouldn't have to work too hard to get it. Now the important thing is that once you drop the oil on there, you cannot use any of the other lenses. Okay, because the oil only works with the oil immersion, not with any of the other lenses. So do not go back. If you absolutely cannot find it on the 100 times lens, do not go back and try to find it. It doesn't work like that. Okay? If you cannot find it on the 100 times lens, well, then you've kind of ruined the lens and you got to start again. Okay? That's the basic rule of thumb. Because remember, never touch the course. Don't do that, right? Only the fine focus, and the oil only works with the oil immersion, not the others. If you get oil dirty, these lenses dirty with oil, then you wreck that lens. So don't do that. When you finish the cycle. Okay, so I'm now officially done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate back to the 4 times lens, my safe lens, right? So that's my safe lens, and then get it back to safe position. All the way down, so we have maximum clearance between the 2. Okay, and then slide out the slide. This goes straight into the discard that'll be on the cart, and then we're going to clean our lens. And I don't have any lens paper with me. I was I guess not that prepared, right? But when you have used lens paper, and it's this little thing called lens paper, okay, not tissue paper, that's too coarse, right? And then wipe the lenses, starting with the eyepiece. All right, just a little custom wipe, and then start with the small 4, 10, 40, and then finally the 100. And the 100, you don't have to clean so that there's no oil. You don't have to like rub it like crazy. Just a little wipe to make sure that the excess oil in there doesn't drip on the slide and get it all dirty, or the stage and get it all dirty. And that's it. Then turn off the light. Safe. Make sure it's in safe position when you put it away. Unplug it, wrap it up, and put it away.